Gunfreak Nation. It's the president, TElectrik. I got a question for you, Gunfreak Nation. And I guess it depends on the situation, but what I want to know is if you are in a hostile situation, when you feel you have to pull your gun, when do you pull your gun? And let me try to get this out, because I'll say this. Me personally, if you find yourself in a hostile environment, me personally, I'm removing myself. I'm removing myself from that hostile environment. And in some cases, man, you may not be able to remove yourself, and you got to take action. And the reason why I want to bring this and make a video on this, bring this to y'all attention. I'm in Michigan, okay? I live in the city of Detroit. I'm ground zero, right at ground zero in the hood. A lot of things happen. A lot of bad things happen. A lot of good things happen too. But we're going to focus on the bad things, the crime. I'll say this. About a week ago, we had a incident, a shooting at the Eastern Market. The video, I may insert the video in there, but I know how YouTube is, and I'm just now getting a strike off my channel, and I don't want to risk getting another strike that would last another 3 months on my channel. So I may add it, and then I may not. But what I'm trying to say is, it was a high-profile shooting that took place last week in Detroit at the Eastern Market. And for those who are watching this that's not familiar with Detroit like that, and like the landmarks and stuff like that, Eastern Market is like a you know what? Let me Google this. But from my understanding, the Eastern Market in Detroit is like, it's not like a grocery store. It's like a little district where you have a lot of people go there to party, tailgate. Let me figure it out, because me personally, I've never been there. What is the Eastern Market in Detroit? Okay, it say right here, the Eastern Market in Detroit, Michigan, is a historic public market district, an open-air flower bed market that's home to over 150 businesses. All right. That's what Google says. Okay. Anyway, the reason why I'm talking about it, it was a high-profile shooting that took place last week, where allegedly, after the Detroit Lions football game, everybody met up at, I believe they called these different areas, Shed 1, Shed 2, Shed 3, Shed 4. I think the altercation happened at Shed 6. And it all got, it started over a parking dispute where two men was into it over a parking spot, right? So, I'm hearing this, I'm hearing that. Let's fast forward, because I don't know all of the details, but an altercation happened where they got into it there, and one of the men pulled his gun. He racked it back and he dropped it to the side. All right. We had another man that was arguing. It was an argument.
This is the scene on Sunday at a Lions tailgate in Eastern Market. Those shots killing 2 people, including racial.
It was a previous altercation earlier. Some kind of way, it flared up again. We had a young man pull his gun, cocked it, racked it back, dropped it to his side. We had another man that was like, come here, signaling for the guy that racked the gun, that had the gun in his hand, to come up to him. They was arguing. They was beefing, man. They was having an argument. So when the guy that had the gun, his gun was already out to his side, walked up to him, and it was having words. All of a sudden, the guy that motioned for him to come over to him reached into his pocket, shot him in the head. He shot the guy that he motioned for him to come to him. He pulled out his gun and shot him in the head. And not only did he delete or unalive the guy that he motioned to come up to him, he also unalived an innocent man that didn't have anything to do with it, that was trying to break it up, that happened to be right behind the guy he unalived. He shot the guy in the head, and the bullet went through his head and hit the innocent guy in the head and killed him instantly. And the guy that the guy that walked up to him with the gun, he died later in the hospital. So the reason why it made the news is because the innocent guy that lost his life trying to break it up, it was his event. He was known all around Detroit. Everybody loved him. Nobody had anything to say about him. He was a party promoter. He was a dancer. He loved to dance. And he was well known in the community. Everybody loved him. And it was his event. Everybody tailgated to that spot, Shed 6, after the Detroit Lions game. And you got idiots, man. But the controversial aspect of the case is, I should have went live with this, man, to hear from y'all in real time. The controversial aspect of the case is he got cleared, no charges. He's a free man. He did 3 days in jail. Once when they reviewed the videos and stuff and saw that the other guy that had a gun, his gun was already out. He had cocked it, racked it back, and he walked up to him. He motioned for him to come, and it was having words. Then all of a sudden, in the video, you see him reach in his pocket or his waistband, and he shot the guy in the head that had the gun. But the bullet went through his head and hit the innocent guy, the one everybody loved. So right now, the city is in an uproar. They would say, how did this guy walk? Because, he killed 2 people. One shot killed 2 people, and one of them were innocent. So he's out. They didn't charge. It was decided that it was self-defense because the guy walked up on him, even though he motioned for the guy. And I want to show this video, but even though he motioned for the guy to come up to him, he reached in his waistband, he shot him in the head, and he killed an innocent bystander, the guy who whose event, you know, he was trying to break it up. So obviously he didn't have hollow points. To me, in my opinion, I think that those were full metal jackets. You never, for self-defense, you never want to have full metal jacket bullets. For the simple fact, incidents like this will happen. Because a full metal jacketed bullet is going to go through the target and hit somebody innocent, and that's exactly what happened. It had to have been a full metal jacket. It had to have been that. And I saw the video of them stretched out, man. It was horrible. So here in Michigan, we have a law called Stand Your Ground, and we have the Castle Doctrine. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to read y'all. I know what it means, but I'm going to read it to y'all. What does Stand Your Ground law mean in Michigan? Okay. It says Michigan's Stand Your Ground law allows people to use force, including deadly force, to defend themselves or others without retreating in certain circumstances. This law applies even if the person is not in their home. That's what we have here in Michigan. So what I'm about to do is, I'm about to do another one because we have Stand Your Ground here. And we also have the Castle Doctrine. The Castle Doctrine in the state of Michigan. All right. It say Michigan's Castle Doctrine, also known as the Stand Your Ground law, allows individuals to use force in self-defense, including deadly force, if they believe it is necessary to prevent imminent death, great bodily harm, or sexual assault. The doctrine applies to both lethal and non-lethal force. So, what I want to talk to y'all about is a lot of people, and by the way, getting back to the shooting at the Eastern Market, right? Both of those people had their CPLs. For those who don't know what CPL mean here in the state of Michigan, CPL means concealed pistol license. That's what CPL. I know it's called CCW in other, states, but here in Michigan it's called CPL. That's concealed pistol license. I have one myself. So both of those men that got into the argument allegedly over a parking spot, they both had their CPLs. What I've noticed is a lot of people with their CPLs, they're carrying, and I noticed that you got two types of people, man. You got the ones this is my observation. You got the ones that go for bad. Hey man, you piss me off, I'm gonna pull my gun. Okay? You got the ones that looking for an opportunity. Yeah, I wish you would pull your gun. I ain't gonna retreat. You pull that gun, you better use it. And if you pull the gun, then that gives them the right to up theirs and use it. It's a slippery slope and it's dangerous. This is why they didn't charge him, even though he motioned for the guy to come up to him, right? He motioned for him to come up to him. So that tells me, and by the way, he sees the guy with the gun. He saw him rack the gun. He dropped the gun to his side, and he still motioned for him to come to him, which the guy should have never done. Matter of fact, he should have never pulled his gun. He should have never pulled his firearm, period. If you're not gonna, my thing is this. if you are in an altercation with somebody, don't even let it escalate to that point, especially over something stupid. Leave, go, retreat, because it's not worth it. I personally believe that the guy, even though he had a CPL, he pulled that gun. Even though he didn't aim it at nobody, he dropped it to his side. He's at fault because he opened all this up to, by the minute that you pull your gun, your weapon, your gun, you don't escalate it to the ultimate. It can't escalate no further than that because you have introduced a firearm into the situation. That's where he went wrong. He set all that off when he pulled that gun. Okay? He triggered that when he pulled that gun. Right? I'm going to put blame on the shooter because you saw this guy pull his gun. You saw him cock the gun back, rack the gun, to slide on it, to load one in the head, and you motioned him to come up to you. When in actuality, when you saw that, you should have just left. But instead, you wanted a confrontation because you knew that you had a gun too. And I'll go as far as to say that when he pulled his gun, he wasn't going to shoot the guy. I'm talking about the guy that pulled his gun and dropped it to the side. Because when he motioned for him to come to him, if he wanted to shoot that man, he could have. He already had his gun out. He could have easily just shot him, but he didn't. But the other guy used that. He baited him over there because that tells me that it was premeditated. Because if you're in fear of your life, you remove yourself from the situation. It was a wide, outside, open area. He could have easily retreated and left. All right? Nobody was, matter of fact, it was people trying to calm the situation down, but he motioned for him to come because he knew he had a gun and he knew that he was going to kill that guy. And it's a sad situation, especially over some bullshit. Nobody wanted to walk away from the nonsense. So now he's not being charged, even though he's claiming self-defense, and the prosecutor agreed with him because, for the simple fact, the other man had a gun and he walked up to see what he wanted when he motioned for him. He's not being charged. No, they're gonna sue the shit out of him. They're gonna put the family of the guy that was well loved, the innocent guy. Oh, it's gonna be a civil lawsuit for sure, because he obviously used full metal jackets, and he could have left. The moral of the story, of this true story, is if you ever in a situation where you pull your gun, you have to use it. Because right here in Michigan, if you pull your gun and the other person you are having the altercation with, or a dispute with, or argument, or whatever, if you pull that gun and you don't use it, and the other person has a gun on them, they can pull theirs and unalive you, delete you from this world, delete you from this planet, and they're not going to face no kind of charges because it's going to be classic self-defense. The law states that he didn't have to leave because we got stand your ground here. That's why he didn't get charged. It better be a life or death situation where you're really, really trying to save your life or somebody else's life. Just don't do it just to be flexing. Because you can literally lose your life that way. If you pulling your gun, you better use it. Because the minute that you produce that gun, that you unveil that you got a gun, and you are opening it up, first of all, you don't took it to the ultimate escalation. Okay? So if you pull it, you got to be willing to use it. And it better be a situation where your life is on the line. That's why, I don't really go out to places like that. I don't go to no places where there is no security. If it ain't nobody there searching people for weapons or, guns or whatnot, I don't want to be there. Because any and everything can happen. Those places are death traps. I want to know what y'all think of the situation. And I think I am going to add the video clip. Gunfreak Nation, I love y'all. Stay armed. Stay responsible with your firearms. And, be ready to send a savage to Funky Town. But only pull it when your life is on the line. Just don't pull it just to be pulling it. That's the moral of this true story. Love you, Gunfreak Nation. Salute.